Algebra 1A 1.4 Part 4. Find the mean, median, and mode for each set of data. Let's look at the first one here. Seth looked at the dates of the original digital photos on his computer to find out how many he had taken in the last 5 days. So first of all, we want to find the mean. This is going to be the average number of photos he has taken. So what we're going to do to calculate this is just add up all those numbers. So 8 plus 6 plus 6 plus 5 plus 3, and then divide it by, remember what we divide it by? The amount of numbers there were. So in this case, the amount of days. So we're going to divide by 5. So go ahead and pause it, calculate that. So you get 28, and then we need to divide that by 5, which ends up being 5.6. So if you get a decimal, just round it to the nearest tenth. So the average number of photographs he took was 5.6 that week. All right, the median. What is the middle amount of photographs he took? So again, just take your data and organize it smallest to biggest. And then you want to figure out what is the middle number. So the median should be 6. Okay, since there was an odd set of numbers, it was just going to be that middle number. And finally, the mode. Which amount of pictures did he take the most often? So the only repeated number was 6 there, so our mode's going to be 6. All right, why don't you try number 2? Pause this video, and then I'll put the answers up here for you to check. All right, so the average was 7.8, the median, the mean. The median was 7, and the mode was 7. Let's go to the next set of data. This one is on kind of a bar graph here. So we want to figure out what is the average number of grocery stores in each town. So what we need to do is first figure out what our numbers are. So in Columbia, that one had 4 stores. If you look to the bar down here, it was at the 4th store. Okay, Ashland had 3 stores. Mayfield had 7. Riverside had 6. Watertown had 9. Springfield had 5. And Glenwood had 4. So that's going to be our data set. So when I figure out what is our mean, those are going to be the numbers that I add up. And then divide it all by how many numbers there are, how many towns there are. So 7. Okay, and then we can calculate it. All right, so if we add up all those numbers, we get 38. Dividing it by 7 gives us 5.42. Let's just go 5.4. Round it to the nearest tenth. Okay, there's about 5.4 grocery stores in each town. All right, median. What is the middle amount of grocery stores that are in these towns? So we want to put our numbers in order from smallest to biggest. I'm kind of just using the list of my mean, but you could scroll up or look at your worksheet to see that number. And then one thing I do to make sure I didn't forget any numbers, just count them up. We knew there were supposed to be 7 numbers, so that looks good. Okay, again, we have an odd set of data. So the median is going to be the middle number. Finally, for mode, which number happens the most often? There's only one repeated number, 4. So the middle number stores, their grocery stores was 5, and the number of grocery stores that happens most often is 4. So many towns have a grocery store of 4. All right, let's try the next one. Okay. This one's talking about wind speed on 5 consecutive days. So why don't you guys do this one? Find the mean, median, mode. Go ahead and pause the video, and then you can check it. Okay, for the mean, remember that's just the average. We're going to add up all those numbers, and since we were talking about 5 days worth of wind speed, that was divided by 5. So that should be 34. So the average wind speed was 34 miles per hour. The median was 30 and the mode was 30. All right, let's look at a different way this data could be shown. Okay, we kind of covered this a little bit last week, but I want you guys to try another one. Okay, the dot plot below gives the numbers of cars sold by a group of car salesmen in 1 week. So if I want to write all these numbers out, first of all, you need to figure out what the dots are counting by. So it looks like they're just counting by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So first of all, for the mean, I'm going to just add them up. So 0 plus 1. So every time I have a dot, I need to put a number down. So here, this is 3. There's actually 3 3s. So I need to put 3 plus 3 plus 3. At 4, there's 4 4s. So I'm going to add up 4 times. Okay, there's 4 5s. I'm going to have to go to the next line here. 1 6 and 1 8. Okay, and then divide by how many dots there were. So 15. So if we add up all those numbers, we get, okay, so we get 60, and then take that divided by 5. So the average car sales in a week by each salesman was 4. All right, the median of car sales. So there's a couple ways to do this. We can use the points kind of like we did for the mean and write them all out. Or the shortcut is kind of think of this as already being your list and kind of just, instead of crossing off the first one and the last one, you can just cross off the first dot and the last dot. And there we go. Your median is also 4. And finally, the mode, this is going to be the one that happens most often. This one has a tie. There are 2 4s at 4 and 5. So mode, we say 4 and 5. All right, why don't you try the next one? This one's talking about the number of books a group of students read over the summer. Find the mean, median, mode. So go ahead and pause this. I'll finish this up while you guys are finishing it up, and then we can check. All right, so if we do the mean, we don't get a perfect answer here. It's 5.5, 8, and then that 3 keeps going on forever, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So we're going to round that to the nearest 10th. So we're thinking, should it be 5.5 or should it be 5.6? So we need to see what is that next number after the 5. So since it's an 8 is going to bump that number up, okay? If that next number was 5 or higher, that first number would be 5.56, okay? If it was lower than 5, then we keep it at 5.5. All right, median, when I did that one, I got it perfectly between 5 and 6. So remember, if you have an even set of numbers, you have to add those middle 2 numbers and divide by 2. So it ends up being 5.5. And finally, the mode, the number that happens most often was 5. All right, so your assignment is on Khan Academy. Just go there and you should see your assignments.